Did you guys know in Hebrews, chapter 11, 31, it says that it was by faith that Rahab the prostitute, she didn't die with the others. Her city refused to obey God. You know what she did? She housed spies who were for God. And her family were the only ones who survived. That doesn't happen every day, guys.
Rahab's story is not unlike our own at times. Joshua was leading the Israelites into Canaan, which is the Promised Land. He sent 2 spies to check out how to take the city of Jericho. The spies were staying and hiding with a prostitute. The king of Jericho asked Rahab to turn the spies over to him. She declined. She hid them on her roof. She told the spies of her belief in God. And because of that, Joshua spared Rahab and her family's lives. Rahab had quite the colorful past. But you know what? So have we. We all are like Rahab. But the thing we need to remember is we need to forget our past. Because you know what? God already did. Joshua 2, verse 1. The 2 men set out and came to the house of a prostitute named Rahab and stayed there that night. The second thing we need to learn is to take a risk. In Joshua 2, verses 4 through 6, Rahab, who had hid the men, replied, "The men were here earlier, but I did not know where they were from. They left the city at dusk as the gates were about to close, and I do not know where they went. If you hurry, you can probably catch up with them." But she had taken them up on the roof and hidden them beneath a pile of flax. She took a risk. Her life was in danger, and yet she stood for these 2 godly men. Without her help, without her taking a chance, these men would have been captured. The third thing we need to do is look forward to God's rewards. Because she took that risk, God rewarded her by saving her entire family. The entire city came crumbling down, and her family was the only one that was spared. Doesn't that tell you something? In Joshua 6:25, so Joshua spared Rahab the prostitute and her relatives who were with her in the house, because she had hidden the spies Joshua sent to Jericho, and she lives among the Israelites to this day. We all have a past. But once we are forgiven, once we truly believe in God and ask for forgiveness, God remembers our sins no more. Rahab took the biggest chance in her life. She was a sinner, and yet she decided to follow God and stand up for Him. And because of that, her life was saved. How many times have we sinned or fallen, and we hold that burden on our backs? Even though we're forgiven, we still feel like we need to be punished, or that we can no longer speak to God. But we're forgiven. God forgets our sins. He forgives our sins. And we need to start taking chances. We need to start standing up. Rahab is an unlikely hero, but because she took a chance, she was forgiven. How many times are we given chances to take a risk and we don't take it? We were too afraid, or afraid that we will fail or fall flat on our face. But that's the beauty of it, guys. If we take a giant leap for God, we will be rewarded in this life and most certainly the next. That's why Rahab was an unlikely hero.